Sorry.
Hello, Spud's laptop. The back foot. Yeah, oh, good. I always set up my microphone and then have it, and it goes, oh, that'll be fine. And then as soon as I go to record, I look and go, oh, maybe it won't be fine. And I go, it's fine. It's fine.
That's totally wrong. Everything's wrong. Everything's wrong. It's all wrong. Everything's wrong.
Yeah. Is everything recording? And you double check everything, and then at some point, about 40 minutes, and you just go, is it recording? You look again.
Yeah, I do that as well. So there's oftentimes I'll just cough in the middle of you ranting, just to make sure my thing is.
Yeah, I do that too. Yeah, if you hear a random cough, if I haven't spoken in a while, I'm testing the microphone.
Oh, the secrets of podcasts, huh?
Yeah. But most people edit that out. I just don't.
No, there's no point in editing out coughs and breathing because it's natural. You know what I mean? Like you listen to people, like next time you listen to radio, just like pay attention to how often you hear them breathing. Like it's all the time because people amazingly have to breathe a lot. You know. There was
a podcast years ago. I was probably still going. It was The Unexplained. It was called, and it was he had a weird name. It was the same name as Howard Hughes. It was his name, but obviously not Howard Hughes. But he had this. It was a great podcast. He was he was a BBC DJ at some point, like back in his career. Like I don't know. I'd say he was. I don't know. Maybe 40s, 50s, whatever. He wasn't that old, but he had that kind of the dry lip or the wet lip thing. I'll see if I can do. And it's just lovely. Constant, and you're just going, oh man. But the thing is, if you have that. Because I know myself that occasionally it'll come up depending on the mic setting. That if you have a really good mic, it can come up sometimes. You can't get rid of it. That you'd literally have to go through every word and take it out. And it's like really crystal clear top end or something. So enjoy listening to lip smacking from Spud and Tommy for the next hour and a half. So.
There was a priest in the next parish over from us. We used to go every now and again because he had mass at an earlier time. If we had to do something during the day, we'd go to him every now and again. And he had that thing where he whistled after it was an S. Was it S's?
like Ian Paisley, that guy.
Yeah, mass was hilarious. So it was, and he was nice. He was a nice man, like so he was. No, you're not like making fun of this like old fella or anything like that. He was young enough actually. He used to be a referee when we were playing hurling and stuff.
Right.
And now I know that these days you'd have to be careful if a priest showed up at a sports club to be a referee, but back then it didn't matter. Yeah. I used to swear like bejesus in front of him as well. And my outfit gave it to me one day. You want to watch your old P's and Q's there in front of father? I was like, well, you don't.
Yeah.
Get in the car.
P and Q referring to in the P and Q?
I haven't a clue.
Penises and quails, is it? Pedophiles and questions?
Mind your P's and Q's there around the priest. I wonder whatever happened to him. He doesn't work there anymore.
Yeah, sex scandal, obviously.
No, maybe he just got old. Although, one of our parish priests, he had a nervous breakdown because he wrote the Ferns report. You ever heard of that? Ferns is the diocese I'm from. Wexford in... there's a weird reason why the counties in Ireland are different than the dioceses. But anyway, Ferns is the county of Wexford. And he wrote this massive report into sex scandals in Wexford, and it just kind of went a bit, kind of had to take time off.
In that he was horrified by.
Yeah. He was nice. I didn't know him that well. My brother and my mate had been altar boys under him, and he was nice enough. I had been a couple of years ahead of that.
Right.
But he was grand. But just the horror of it and knowing kind of what went on, and as a way to say kind of, I don't know if it was a way to say sorry, but also was a way to reward him for kind of work and uncovering all. They made him the bishop, so he's the bishop of Wexford now, bishop of Ferns.
Right.
It's a weird one because like why is it? I still don't understand why it's the diocese of Ferns, because like Ferns is just this tiny village on the way to. Between Gorey and Arklow. It's tiny. It's literally a church and a petrol station. Like,
I'm not sure, because I think, when I'm in Dundalk, anyway, I think I'm in the Armagh diocese. I'm not sure, because I spent so much time in the north when I was a kid that maybe I'm just confusing that. But, it's odd. It's obviously something to do with power and voting.
It's something to do with the GA.
And the English.
No. It's something to do with the GA. Yeah. It was people in Ireland used to Like, no. So what I'm kind of wondering is why didn't they stick with the dioceses as the counties rather than the counties took over? So what happened was the English came in and carved it all up and made things into different counties and all that, which are similar enough to the dioceses. You know, there's a lot of overlapping with them. But when the GA came along and was officially became a thing in 18, whatever the fuck it was,
the GA is the National Football League thing of Irish Gaelic thing.
And so they stuck with that as the counties. And handball. Right. Isn't it handball as well? Handball
is our official sport.
Rounders is an official Irish sport, you know. Rounders is awful. Yeah. God,
it's grand when you're 6. It's fine. But, not so good when you're 43 or something. Well,
handball,
I
like handball. Handball is fucking manly. Like, it's fucking squash without the rackets. Fuck rackets. And it's pussy. I'm going to use my hand.
Very tough. We had handball alleys at school. Jesus, we obviously have to do the half because like the full handball alley's insane. Like, good luck if you get
no, we used to do the full one. Yeah. But like the fucking your hand would be raw because it's a big lump of fucking rubber you're hitting, isn't it?
I know, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I don't need a racket. Look at you with your racket, you wimp.
Yeah.
I use my hands because
that's a good Catholic game. Yeah, that'll punish it. That'll fucking beat you. Out there, wreck yourself. Yeah. If you come in too early, you're playing rounders.
There was something I had been thinking about. It's kind of come up a little bit with you before, but like there's a huge crossover between occulty people, woo people, whatever you want to call us, magic people. I really don't like the word magic.
I like now that you're firmly into whatever you call us. I like that you're completely converted. You've gone full woo at this point.
I'm full. I am full woo, but I just don't like the word magic. I just keep seeing Paul Daniels and what's her name? What was her name?
Debbie McGee.
Debbie McGee.
Yeah.
Debbie McGee.
What first attracted you to multi-millionaire Paul Daniels?
There's a big crossover between this community and like not liking sport. Why is that?
Because we're all shit at it.
Is that really what it comes down to?
We got into magic because we, or social pariahs because we weren't into sport. I don't know. I have no idea.
So why didn't you just play tennis? They're all social pariahs.
Yeah. I played badminton. So that's all right at it. I don't think that's true.
Badminton.
Yeah. Not really. Like, I mean, there's definitely fairly like fit magicians or whatever you want to call them. Like E.A. Coetten's quite fit. He likes getting his top off. We can see it. But there's an awful lot of fat dudes as well, which I've mentioned in videos before. But, if magic is so great, why are we all fat? I have no idea. It just doesn't seem to want to help in that thing. It's an interesting one. I suppose it's if your passion's in that direction, in a kind of a physical thing, that's probably where you're going to go. Whereas the kind of the passion is more in let me say, maybe possibly an intellectual thing when it comes to thing. But also there's a physical thing. You have to meditate.
You think that like what's it, high? So low magic is when you just want material stuff. Yeah. So you think that there'd be a lot of like, I'm playing football today and I'm going to do a sigil to win kind of thing, or do sigils for gambling or whatever.
But I suppose you're assuming that doesn't happen, whereas it probably does happen.
No, I mean, I presume it does happen. But
I suppose you get enough. You get an awful lot of the visualization stuff and all that happening, particularly in runners and you see an awful lot of the guys doing like the 100 meters and they talk about how to set it all up in their mind first, or even boxers, like they go in and they see themselves winning, and you can tell almost immediately. Sometimes when you see a boxing match, who's going to win just by the the stare or the determination or whatever. Not always, obviously, because that can be ego and think you're awesome, and then you get smacked about the place. But no, I'd say it happens. It's just probably don't call it magic. You know what I mean? That particular magic.
Do you think
brand?
Because the kind of idea I was coming up with was that like it's a competition thing. People don't. It seems to me that people in this field of woo or whatever don't particularly like competition against other people.
I think you're completely wrong. I think it's full of competition. So much. My magic is better. I'm better at magic than you. I'm more powerful than you. I'm more awakened than you. I'm overall more chosen than you. I think it's very prevalent. Probably. No, it is, but it's definitely in.
Well, they all
age.
sound like Man United. They all sound like Man United fans.
yeah. That's the general. Yeah, but, yeah. No, I think it is. Do you find there's a humility to people in magic that I'm not seeing? Like,
okay, well,
that's not to say. I don't like. Not everyone. like say the community that surrounds the Discord and the fairy section. Like, I don't find there's that kind of level of stuff. There's no one trying to outdo anyone, unless it's like even in the like the art section. Everyone's just oh, that's great. And that's but CMG was definitely I'm the fucking greatest magician of all time.
Yeah. Sometimes you see a lot of not on your thing. Your Discord's quite good for, but like on Reddit, Twitter, and all that kind of fucking cesspools. Well, Reddit's not that bad. Depends. The thing with Reddit, I think, is that if you don't like Reddit, then you're just in the wrong fucking communities, because there's quite a lot of decent ones out there. But like, there's this kind of, what did you say to me before? There's a lot of this, well, actually.
Yeah, well, actually. Stuff, what you'll find is.
that really grinds people's gears. Yeah. Oh no, I suppose I take that back about the competitive stuff. Maybe it's a physical competitiveness. I don't know. I mean, look at me. I'm short and I'm a bit overweight, but I did kind of always play sport. I was just never really good at it. I just always liked being part of a team or something like that.
Yeah. I was never good at it.
I suppose magic is kind of a more individualistic type of thing. But then there's why can't I say that word? There are solo sports as well. Tennis, MMA, boxing, all that kind of stuff. But then they're a bit too physical, because like there's no point in a good-looking person like me getting into UFC, because I'm a lover, not a fighter. Look at me.
But it's also
I'm not bald now, but I used to be good looking.
The other way I look at it is that there's plenty of non-solo aspects to magic, or whatever is the correct word for it. I equally kind of stumble around that as well. In that, there's a lot of cults. There's a lot of groups you could join. There's a lot of these things. So there is an element of people wanting to join a team as well. It's I don't know. But I know what you mean, that you're not seeing an awful lot of, say, if you're hanging out on Facebook and you have a lot of magic friends, whatever, there's not an awful lot of them, posting pictures of bodybuilding.
Fucking none of them talk about football, man.
Or anything, or. But you see a lot of them, there's definitely a lot of them run, but that of all of it, I'd say that running
but
is
they're just running from themselves, Tommy. That's
running away. I was reading the Alan Watts book last night. It's about the Tao, or the Tao. And it's saying, what is the thing that always remains elusive the further or the closer you get to it? And it's like, yourself. It's like, running. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. He followed me on Twitter the other day. I thought he was dead.
Yeah, it's
mad, delighted.
When that happens.
Alan Watts.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Wow.
So where have you been? What's the other side like? 140 words or less. Please explain what you've done in the last 50 years. It's interesting you're talking about... Sorry, go on. Yep.
Great. I was just going to say he's lovely. I love Alan Watts. He's just such an... it would have been nice to be around when he was... Isn't it mad that, like... You always get into something just after a lot of the kind of good people are gone out of it. Like grunge came along when I was, grunge came along for me when I was 16. It's like, no, Kurt Cobain's been dead for 5 years already. Fuck's sake. Totally missed that, Or Alice in Chains, he was dead as well. Lane's, what's his name?
Lane Stanley.
Lane Stanley and Stanley. Yeah. Stanley?
Stanley? I thought it was Stanley. I don't know. Lane Heroin.
Surely it's Stanley, like the knife. Surely.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
I don't know, whatever. Lane, anyway. Lane, he's named after a fucking small street. Why are we giving out about his surname?
The top player was Jerry Cantrell. That's all I can tell. That's one I'm sure.
Right. And there's but it's the same, Terence McKenna didn't die all that long ago. He's a fucking legend. Alan Watts isn't all that long dead. And it's just like, fuck, man. It would have been nice to be around when he was around.
Alan Watts died in 1972. I mean, that's 50 years ago. So
yeah, but that's only, 10, 9, a couple, not that long before I was born,
What year were you born?
Or imagine I'm not giving away that. People know my full name, my address, and my birthday.
I'm so security number.
Even like Bob, imagine being alive when Bob Marley was around. Imagine getting to see Bob Marley live. Like I was reading something, his biggest concert ever was I think it was in the San Siro in Milan or something. Right. Imagine how cool that would have been. In Italy. Italy? What? Reggae? What? Would have been awesome, But I suppose, it makes you kind of question then, okay, so who are the people around now that we should
Well, this is the thing. This is the interesting thing, is because you're probably not recognising it in the same way. That if you were around when Alan Watts was there, he's probably the equivalent of someone like I don't know, say Alan Chapman, where you know, or something like that, where it's just like, you know, the guy doing it, and it's only then, you know, 50 years later you can look back and it begets that a bit more the mystique or something. It gains something.
Yeah.
But when it's contemporary, it's kind of, it's just fucking Alan, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's your man. But but I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's like in 30 years' time, if David Attenborough isn't right about the future, we look back. And
well, I mean, okay,
obviously it'll be. And you were a bit when Spud when he was doing stuff. Wow, I missed that because I came after that. Oh, you're so lucky. And he did a gig in Milan. Wow, in San Siro.
Well, look, okay, so I mean, I think Ken Wilber will be for sure. Almost certain of that.
Well, I don't know. Grace and Grish might have sealed his fate as a rom-com has been.
That'll be forgotten about. I don't know. I'm not, whatever. I've already forgotten about it, to be honest. So I think him and the two Baptist head lads, Alan Chapman and Douglas Barfoot. I think their influence. Yeah, but that's the kind of thing. Their influence won't be seen for much longer. I mean, even like when Crowley was around, only very few people knew who he was, and it's only since the kind of licenses and shit went on his books that it became more popular. I mean, there was no book. There was fuck all books of Crowley around when we were.
Well, he was self-published like in his day, so it was a very low run. Yeah, it didn't get any mass paperback kind of things. Yeah, but he was definitely Crowley would have been on, you know, the front page of the whatever was equivalent of the Daily Mirror at the time, like. So it wasn't like, I can't imagine. Well, let's hope not. Alan Chapman or Duncan Barford are going to be on the front of the Sun in the next while. That would be interesting. Can't imagine that would be for anything good.
Well, no. So it's different though, and you can't compare them lads with Crowley. Crowley was he was somebody before he even got into all this stuff. He was this elitist. Whatever, so he was destined for. He was a Bullingdon, is that what they call it? Boris Johnson and all these weirdos. They put their penis into dead pigs and all. Yeah, Bullingdon, is that what they call it? Bullingdon Club? Isn't that
I don't know. I'm not
in Oxford or Cambridge, one of those things. There's like these skull and bones type.
Right.
It's not conspiratorial, man. It's just a group of posh.
Oh no, I mean it's like, I mean, aware that they were in and the penis in the pig and my I just don't actually know the word the Bullington or whatever it is.
I think it's Bullington. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Anyway, so they'd be my three, I guess. Who else? God, I don't know. I like that John O'Donoghue fella, the Irish. He was a priest. His books are quite good. I don't know. Who do you think?
I don't know. What am I reading? What am I into at the minute? I don't know. Same. Like, I mean, it's hard to know because, I mean, you could say Kingsley, right? And you could say, but like, maybe not. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, who's to say like, you could say, well, probably the Beatles are going to be listened to in 100 years' time, right? We can maybe say that. Like, I mean, is Prince, and like, he was huge, like, is Queen, you know, you could kind of guess, but you've no idea what way things are going to go. And particularly when you look at the history of these things, where people, like, say, like Van Gogh, right? I know, different thing. Never sold a painting in his life. Absolutely, you know, a nobody. Killed himself out of desperation because his life was shit, right? Or whatever. Horrible story. And considered the greatest painter of all, you know, one of the greatest painters of all time now. And predict that while he's alive. No chance. Like, because you don't know him. So, I mean, there might be someone sitting in a bedroom writing the most amazing book of magic that's ever existed that we will not hear about for 30 years, but it's been done. And, you know, he's trying to friend you on Facebook and you're going, oh, God, he's called himself frat or sausage. I can't.
Fratter incel. Fratter incel neckbeard.
So yeah, look quick. Well, I mean, there's Pete Carroll going to be. You know, is Ramsey Jukes, is Gordon White, is who else is on my shelf?
I would say two no's and one yes to those.
Yeah, this is really interesting me looking at my shelf on the podcast. Grant Morrison, I don't know. Like, who else there? Robert Anton Wilson. That's not, you know, Robert Anton Wilson.
Yeah, but he already is.
Yeah.
When did he die? Were we alive when he'd 90 something?
It's the 90s, yeah, the 90s, I think, I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. He lived in Ireland for 6 years, you know that? He went.
That's mad, isn't it? Yeah. And it was too wet. He said, fuck this. Don't blame me.
He didn't want to, I think it's more his wife wanted to be, or maybe it's the other way around, he wanted and his wife didn't. I know there was some sort of, someone wasn't happy anyway, but it's mad that he's such a quaint view of Irish people, given that he lived here for 6 years and still has the the Irish version of Irish
Although,
Although, like, I mean, I suppose he's trying to romanticize Irish people by still thinking, you know, Ireland is in, you know, it's essentially the book Ulysses. So
the land of the puka and all that, and yeah, no, the other side of it, just the land of Ulysses. Yeah, but I don't know, Tommy. I mean, there is still quite a lot of folklore-y stuff, but it's just kind of. I'll put it this way, like. I remember like growing up and stuff and being over like at cousins' houses and aunties' houses or cousins of cousins and all this type of stuff. And in the evening time, like the telly be off and it'd just be ghost stories. That's all it would be.
Okay.
Just ghost stories. All these kind of folklore-y, werewolfy type of cool fucking stories. You know?
Right, okay.
And I hope. Well, no, I think that still does go on. But it's just
that definitely didn't happen for me now. So that's obviously.
Well, I think it just stays in the circles. It doesn't get out.
Yeah.
Do you know? Your friend does the occult book reviews. He'd know much more about this, like. You know?
Yeah. He's like the whole occult book review and the circle stories.
Stories, yeah.
But he's been, I don't know, not to speak for him, but he's been a bit hesitant about the cult stuff. I think he's kind of a bit sick of the nonsense.
Well, he's active on Twitter, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he tweets out a good bit, you know, and folklore seems to be what he's into mostly at the minute, anyway.
Yeah. Well, he kind of, I suppose, always was. It's like that was the kind of place he was coming from. But you should definitely, his occult book review, even though he doesn't update anymore on YouTube, it's fantastic. And you will, like, you should read, like,
Stone
every
Circles is the Facebook page, isn't it?
Yeah. Circle Stories. Sorry,
great.
it's Circle Stories.
What did I call it?
Stone Circles.
Follow
I'll put
that
that
on Facebook because he has a new thing every Friday, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll put it in the show description. I'm being good at that. I've actually been doing these things. Yeah.
You're getting good at it, are you?
Well, I think so.
I heard you're not supposed to, though.
What's that?
I heard you're not supposed to put links in your YouTube videos because it takes traffic and stuff away from YouTube. They don't like that.
I couldn't give a shite at all about that. Sure. My essentially my description is a list of websites. So I mean, it's and the fact that we don't edit anything or have, you know, proper thumbnails or can you like and subscribe and ring that bell and
smash that smash the Smarlicks. I don't know what that means. Isn't that a thing from fucking Rick and Morty? It's a currency or something, isn't it?
Don't know. Never going to Rick and Morty for my sins.
Oh, what? Rick and Morty's great.
I tried it a few times. I just found it really annoying. But sorry.
All right. Okay. Yeah. What was the thing I tried this week that I found annoying? Bo Burnham. Yeah, you really liked that, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought that was amazing. Absolutely amazing, yeah. It's unexaggeratingly says one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. So it's bad, isn't it? Like, because I mean, it didn't hit you at all. You just go, "This is no."
It's too much music in it for me. I don't like music.
See, I usually don't, but I do like Tim Minchin, and I do.
Oh God, no!
You see, yeah, there you go. Yeah, you know, I do like Bill Bailey, and I do like David O'Doherty.
Yeah.
So
no.
So it's it's a very particular taste because I know when I see a comedian doing. With a keyboard, and I can understand the cringe of it when it's not, you know, when you don't connect with it. So I completely get it. But I would say I would hazard that the Inside is essentially a modern day version of the Abramelin working.
You reckon?
So. If you see it in occult terms, it's a fantastic.
I'll try. I'll try.
No, I mean
again,
you won't.
If
you won't, you won't. I mean, it's.
Well, look, I didn't like his last one, and the last one was supposed to be like the greatest stand-up thing of all time.
Yeah, I think I watched one of his before and got halfway through it, and it was kind of like not that I switched off. Something happened, and I wasn't annoyed that I was switching off. If that's a way, you know. But
I don't know. It's just. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like the praise he gets is kind of like. Putting him up there with Bill Hicks and Richard Pryor and the greats, but I can't.
He's very young for me, like still, isn't he? Like he's still early in his career, isn't he? Mid-20s.
Yeah, but he's on
he's 30.
Third or fourth. He's on his third or fourth thing now, and it's kind of like, well, yeah, if you're up there with them, then I think you have to be doing something that's, how to say this. It's hard to be different in stand-up comedy because it's just a fella in a microphone telling jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but like Hicks was very, very different. Pryor was very, very different. Robin Williams was very, very different. This isn't different. This is David O'Doherty. It's been done many times.
I know what you mean.
You know?
Well, yeah. But it's different in the sense of it's a year-long mental breakdown videoed. So that's.
I should like it then. I should like it. What did I watch a while ago? I actually watched a real film there a while ago. I watched The Joker a while ago because everyone was saying, "I suppose you love this." Spud man, you loved it. Not everyone, obviously. A few people, maybe 5.
Every single person you met for like 2 years. The Joker Spud. Have you seen it? Watch The Joker Spud.
I fucking hated it. That was awful. So
see, the worst thing about the thing about The Joker, I got to see it before I heard anything about it, and I went, oh wow, yeah, that's completely different from what I think. But there's no way I'd like it ever seen it after 2 years of the hype. No chance. Couldn't. It's too much.
Did you know what put me off? And there's no point in saying the spoilers because I'm the last person on the planet to see it. But there's 2 big things that it kind of. There's 3 parts to his breakdown, right? So the first bit is the mother. Okay, we'll give him that because that will upset people. You know, your mother's
going to
bananas.
have an effect on you.
Yeah, that is definitely going to have an effect and can happen and does happen, and it's sad and it's tragic, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst fucking enemy. You know what I mean? I wouldn't like. Okay, then the second bit was Robert De Niro gets this video of a comedian dying on stage, okay? And then plays it in front of a national audience for Americans to laugh at. What's his name? Joaquin Phoenix. That just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't. That's just the biggest faux pas in comedy. You do not laugh at someone who dies on their arse.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, look, she got up. They're brave enough to do it. They took a chance. It didn't work. You'd never make fun of someone who dies on their arse. So that wouldn't happen. Right, and even before that, the bit where he's with his psychologist.
Well, it would definitely happen in Howard Stern, though. So I mean, that absolutely would happen.
Yeah, but the fucking degenerates watch fucking Howard Stern.
Yeah, but it's still 40 million people or whatever it is.
There's 40 million degenerates. That proves my point.
But you're saying it wouldn't happen, and I'm just pointing out, it would, but just wouldn't happen on a TV program.
It wouldn't happen on like David Letterman or Jimmy Kimmel or any of those American things. It just wouldn't happen, you know. And then the other thing was that when he's meeting his social worker, and the social worker's like, "Yeah, we're closing down," and he says, "Well, where am I going to get my drugs?" And she's like, "I don't know." No, literally, dude, you go to another doctor, okay? Like, that's it. The movie's finished. Joaquin Phoenix gets his good drugs. He's happy. He doesn't go cuckoo bananas and fucking start the fucking Black Lives Matter or whatever the fuck it's alluding to. Bullshit film. Bullshit.
Did you have a reaction to it in some way?
I'm so that. It's just like I don't have an extra 2 hours in my life, and like, okay, we'll watch it. I give in, we'll watch it, and it's 2 hours. I'm like, I've just wasted 2 hours. I could have been reading about fucking theurgy. You know what I mean? I could have been reading some more Alan Chapman. I could have been reading more Duncan or Barford, or I could have been reading more Ken Wilber. Instead, I watched this. Just. Sorry.
I know, but you don't have to spend your life being constantly productive, Spud. You can also spend some time watching a shit film that you didn't enjoy. It's fine. It's okay.
If I'm going to watch something shit, then I'll watch something that's funny. You know what I mean? Because
but I mean, you should have known that it wouldn't be a film for you. Like so. But I mean, I suppose when everyone's telling you,
I did know. I thought it was going to get me whole, and I didn't. Yeah. Things we do for fun.
So you know? what are you actually annoyed about here? So fucking shit film. Let's delve a little deeper into this and the symbolism.
I thought I'd get sex last night and I didn't. That night, not last night.
Oh god, yeah. So it's Joaquin Phoenix's fault. What a shit movie. Yeah.
Do you know, we're getting so old now, we've turned into morning sex people, which is just disastrous for me because I hate mornings. But like, it's just not time in the evenings.
Well, would it not, make mornings more? Would not appreciate mornings then more? It might change you as a person.
Yeah, they're grand enough, but it's like, you get an elbow fucking 6:45 in the morning. It's like, we have 15 minutes. All right, come on in.
Yeah. I get an elbow 6:45 in the morning. It's a 2.5-year-old telling me to get up and get him breakfast. Downstairs, yes? You're only awake. Your eyes aren't even open. Yeah. It's odd, isn't it? Age does a change.
Age, yeah. Mornings suck. Nothing good happens in the morning. So what happens in the morning? News and politics. Ooh, yay, rah. Awesome. Nighttime is when all the cool people do shit.
Yeah,
Not me.
I was always a night person. I suppose if excuse me, if I was left to my own devices, I definitely probably would work through the night again. But it's not great for your mental health, personally, I find, anyway. But it's
just to assist you, it'd be grand.
Yeah, I was just want to go back to it. We were talking earlier on about Reddit and how it can be a cesspool and stuff like that. I was on Zen yesterday, and for some reason it's not something that comes up. Oh my god, that is a horrible, horrible place. That's a horrible, horrible place. They always have this kind of thing about spiritual circles, whatever. That the thing that they're, to say they're proponents of, never comes out in their actions ever. Like there's particularly when I was doing the BOTA stuff, and then certain kind of people or groups I was in, and they were all, not all of them, some of them were lovely, but like there was enough of them of just shitty people, and you go, wow, and these Zen people who are, because you think Zen, but man, no, it's like lots of you're a liar and you're a sex pest and all. It's like, Jesus Christ, chill out, lad. But they don't like Dogen at all. Like that seems to be a huge kind of. That's I didn't realise it was such a bump.
How many Dogans are there? Dogen Jinja, what's his name?
Well, there's one significant one. Who wrote Shobug Zango, and what's the other one? Fungana Gana for Fugazi.
Is this the fellow who is this the Dogen that Genpo Roshi talks about? Is it him?
Yes, he would be.
Genji, is that his name? Genji.
Dogen Genji. Yeah, that sounds right.
That's it. Yeah.
But supposedly he he started. It's a cult. It's not Zen. He was also a racist, a plagiarist, if I can get that out, and seemingly, at least according to Zen and Reddit, some sort of sex pest. But they seem to.
Holy shit, man! It sounds like Alistair Crowley.
Yeah, it sounds like this is standard. What? I mean, standard practice. What's the issue here? Look, racist, sex pests, plagiarists, cults. What?
Isn't that everything you want in an occult leader? Cult leader.
Yeah. Or both. Same,
sure, your man, the Wilbur's thing is the same. Integral. They're awful people. Really elitist and up their own arses. Not like us.
No. I'm not good enough to be elitist. I'm Catholic guilt. I'm so loud. I'm the opposite. My elitism comes from how shitty I can be, or how shitty I can feel about myself. I'm a level 10 feel shitty about myself person. I've gone the full way. I'm now in therapy.
I mean, I get there's this huge kind of thing that weaves all of these religions and belief systems all together, and it's that like the people who follow it the most strongly don't completely miss the message, because like the message with all of them is like, learn to think for yourself. That's it. You know what I mean? It's very simple.
Particularly Zen, which is no dogma, no rules, no organisation. Just sit down, shut up. Like, that's it. Sit down, shut up.
It's pretty simple. Yeah, like that thing that we'll talk about later. He gives this simple thing about what Tao is, and it's that like, well, look, it can't really be taught intellectually. It's just like live life and pay attention. Yeah. And he's like, is that all? Is that all I have to do?
Yeah,
that's easy.
I know, but it's like. I don't know, and I understand that the internet is not a fair representation of, but I think it's getting closer to being a fair representation of humanity. In fairness, seeing as we're have such a symbiotic relationship with it now. Are you checking your mic? Are you?
Yeah, no, sorry, frog in my throat there. There's, I don't know. I mean, I still have hopes for fucking. Remember we were talking about Adam Curtis there a couple of months ago. I still have hopes for his dream that the internet will just be seen as this kind of quaint thing that happened a couple of years ago. I'd really like people to just it's not for me to tell people what to do or anything like that, but like, life is kind of nice when you just go for a walk in a forest and listen to some rivers and all that stuff.
I had a sort of a daydream yesterday. It was kind of this kind of idea of that, there was more, for some reason, there was a return to, being outside and people and stuff, and there was this kind of idea that the internet, this computer was down in a shed at the bottom of the garden. You could visit every now and again. Oh, I have to go and pay the electricity or whatever. There's no electricity because we're evolved past that. Whatever it is, but it was just like it was the thing that you just was like, oh, you had to deal with it every now and again. I have to, and that was. But it's bottom of the garden, kept in the shed, and I was going, yeah, that'd be cool. It probably could happen very easily if. polarities of the planet switch and there's no electricity, and then we have to talk to each other in real life again.
I wonder. I mean, yeah.
I love the internet, but I also love not being on it at the weekend. Particularly in social media, where I just don't interact or I don't answer emails or any of that. I think it's a great idea.
Personally, for me at this stage, it's a tool to communicate with people, like call you here or call whatever relatives wherever they are in the world, and to write with them and stuff like that, and then research for my work. But yeah, I mean, there's often times where I'll be fucking doing me work on those Facebook groups or whatever, and I'll be after doing it and I'm still on it half an hour later, and I'm just like, what am I doing?
Yeah. I think if we could probably separate the different aspects of the internet, it would be probably a lot handier. If we don't see the internet as being, social media, or as as you can go, I'm researching, and it's the internet has kind of come. All of these things, we just go, this is what I'm doing. If we can compartmentalize it a bit more, and where we can see it is that, because we're saying, we're on the internet now, but it's like we're on the phone now. You know what I mean? It's just separated a wee bit from Facebook, Twitter, or Reddit, or whatever it is. But I mean, it's going to get worse because I mean, I've an Alexa in the house that eventually will probably answer the door for me and make me toast and all of these things, but. The internet of things.
I like the idea of the fridge that orders your food. That sounds kind of cool. That means I don't have to go to the shop. But
but then it'll become thing. Here's the delivery man at the door. I have to get up. You'll exchange it for another annoying thing that is less, but it will become as problematic as having to go to Tesco. It's like, the Tesco man is here.
I suppose, yeah. Well, I mean, it's a nice experience to go to the DIY shop than to order stuff online, because you get to play.
I remember at one point, the two of us just kind of text each other from whatever DIY shop we were in, just going, half an hour here, great, just going to walk around, just going to chill out. Nice. A hammer. Ooh.
Yeah, I have a friend who lives up not too far away from me, and he does that. He's always an hour later home than he actually is, because he just goes into the shopping centre and walks around, because he's like, I'm not able for home yet.
Yeah. I'm going to look at a drill that I'm never going to buy for a while.
I don't know. I mean, I think what's going to be interesting is that within the next, say, 10, 15 years' time, we'll see a lot of these decentralised kind of things happening a bit more on the internet. Like you'd see now. Did you see, what country was it? Not Uruguay, Bolivia, Peru, some South American country. They're after legalising Bitcoin the other day.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
That's pretty mad, and so that's going to start.
Not even legalise. It's as a legal tender. Isn't that what you mean? Like I'm sure it was legal. But you can actually go into shops.
I don't know. It's a funny one. Bitcoin. It is and it isn't legal, but it's so big now that you can't.
Well, you can get it. You can do it in PayPal now, can't you? Or in America, anyway. I think. They don't usually roll any of that stuff out here for ever.
Maybe so. But it's that. When these things become big, that's going to have a huge effect on the world, because it means that we won't have to trade in.
Well, you see, it's going to become the equivalent.
Even at the minute,
go on.
Yeah. So even though the dollar doesn't have the gold standard or anything like that anymore, still stuff is measured against how well the dollar's doing. Once Bitcoin or Ethereum or one of these ones becomes the standard, that changes everything.
Yeah, and it's also, you have the element that if you have the way everything is kind of digital now, and people say, we have a digital currency. We essentially have a digital currency now. Anyway, it's just, there's still a bit of cash knocking about. But you're going to, that whole cash in hand thing of, under the table and paid for your nicks or all that kind of stuff will be Bitcoin or something equivalent. It'll be some, kind of...
which one
modern
is the
version of salt or whatever.
I was looking into it. Bitcoin's not as anonymous as people think it is at all. Once you do a transaction, it's still up there in the ether somewhere. There's one called, is it Monero? I think it's called Monero. That's properly anonymous. But then there's other... it's fascinating. There's so many of them out there. And you're just like, holy shit, this is going to change the world, and it looks like it's going to be good.
or it's not, and that it's another kind of either a transition to something else or a fad. And it seems, from my very little reading on it, other than it's so ubiquitous on Reddit, geez, you can't get away from cryptocurrency. and GME. Like, it's as if I know what I'm on about when I go,
Fucking
okay.
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Musk.
But, it's something's going to, like, all you can definitely say is that it's not going to be the way it used to be with regard to currency and stuff like that. And hopefully it'll be good. I know, you can throw out words like, and the blockchain will help with this. You know that buzzword that people say when anything on the internet. Oh, people are getting screwed on Spotify. Yeah, but blockchain can help with this. You don't even know what you're on about.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's fascinating to kind of think that where all this could go. Because like it could be a leveler for wealth for people to make that like, okay, so because one Bitcoin is worth one Bitcoin everywhere in the world, kind of thing. So this is how much it is in dollars, but this is how much it is in thing. But like it might potentially just make everything decently priced. Like it blows my mind that like, you know the way in America, like usually in like the big shops, Walmart or whatever, like a loaf of bread is the same price in fucking New York as it is in LA or something.
All right, I wasn't sure
if
it was
the same currency.
Right, okay, yeah.
Well, in a lot of places, okay, there will be regional differences and all that kind of stuff. But like, however, like the price of a beer in Ireland is like about €10 now. You know what I mean? In Poland, it's 1, and we have the same currency.
I was going €10 and cut me. I goes, it probably is though. It probably is €10.
It was 7 or 8 anyway.
Well, in Dublin,
10, right?
you're definitely paying £7.50 for a pint in Dublin.
Or even let's say it's 5 down the country. All right, it's 5 for a beer in Ireland, and it's 1 in Poland, but we have the same currency and the same central bank runs on the same laws. It just makes no sense.
How? There's the VAT difference, but that still doesn't make for the. Like it's not 23% VAT is not £4. You know what I mean? It's not.
It's bizarre.
But it's like
we have the same currency with different prices.
But you can see it. I suppose it's different on like say cigarettes because there is such a huge duty on it, compared to different countries or whatever. But it's not even that. It's like when you go to Italy and everything's massively cheap. Or wherever. Just picking Italy because I've been there a number of times. And you go in and you buy butter and it looks different. Everything's different, but it's like it's all made the same way. But it's just and it just it's like it's slightly white. This butter, this is the best butter. It's not. It's just you're in Italy, not really Ireland. So
it's a weird one that like money has so much power over us when like we all know deep down it's not real. Like it's not. It's just something we all pretend is.
Well, you see, it's the biggest binding we're in, isn't it? It's that's how they got us. That's how the modern world was built on money that doesn't actually exist and debt that can never be repaid. And welcome to my David. Yeah, welcome to my David Icke lecture. This is me talking about. Yeah, so the reptiles
like
come
what
down.
What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to go back to barter. Look, I need 7 hammers. I need some lengths of timber.
4 candles. A 4 candle.
I'm a writer, so like I can write about Man United for you if you want. And he's like, no, fuck off. Okay, barter's fucked. No good to me.
Yeah, well, I suppose the thing is then because you all say, well, just like get rid of money. You go, well, who's going to do the shit jobs? Well, who's going to do all this? And you go, well, now robots. That's, so there's no excuse, until the uprising, until, we're all against the wall. But like if you can automate an awful lot of these things, you probably could either like that whole notion of the, the basic income or just get rid of it. But I mean, you're not because, can you imagine Elon Musk or George Bezos going, we'll just get rid of money? What? After all this, we'll just, no, I don't think it's going to happen. You can dream. You can always look for the Star Trek future, But I don't know.
There are dreamers out there who like say that this, these new currencies or whatever you want to call them, they are a way to make everyone insanely rich, and then we'll all just be able to live not a life of luxury, but be able to live kind of as more equals than we are. But I don't really see that happening because.
But isn't there that leveling thing of if everyone is rich, then no one is, though? Is that not like if everyone has a million quid, is a million quid useless? Like,
but
is that the case? Is that the case? I don't know if that's true.
No, but probably has to be. Sure, I mean, like you can't just you can just go online and buy Bitcoin or whatever. But like 1 Bitcoin is what, €40,000 or something. I can't afford that.
Yeah, but you don't buy it. You don't. Yeah, but you don't buy it.
No, of course, you buy pieces of it. But like, say like someone in Ireland who's in a bank job, because Ireland pays more wages, then he has an advantage over me because he can just buy more.
Buy more of it. Yeah.
And then he's richer and has more power anyway. So that won't work as a way of leveling it out. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. It almost feels like capitalism is inevitable, doesn't it? In some way, like which
Yeah. But sure, look, even fucking Karl Marx, like he's the man who was against it and all. Like it's in Das Kapital that like he's like, look, this is here to stay, but we can make it work for us.
Yeah.
People leave that bit out. You know,
that's because it doesn't fit their agenda, man.
Yeah, but it was literally his agenda.
I know, yeah.
He came up with the agenda, and then like they invent communism based on it, but leave out that bit where he's like, yeah, okay, this thing exists and it's shit, but we can make it work for us. And they're like, no, let's kill everyone. What? No, that's not what he wanted.
I think part of the problem of the whole capitalist thing is that we feel that there is somewhere in the ether a better idea, you know, that there is a perfect way of doing it. It's kind of tied in with the myth of progress that we'll eventually solve all problems. Everything will be perfect. Everything will be wonderful. We just have to get there, you know, that kind of, and we're constantly evolving towards it and go, maybe capitalism, as shit as it is the best we can do, because that's just the nature of things. And there's no actual perfect answer or perfect, like that's not to say let's try to do a better version of it, but, and I'm not pro-capitalist, not anything. I don't know enough about economics to really understand it, other than I've been so entrenched in it that it seems normal to me. But I mean, it could be just because as you say, what happens if we don't? We go back to socialism, or we could try socialism, right? Because we've tried that, it doesn't really seem to work. Oh no, we just haven't done it right. Yeah, we've tried that as well, and it didn't work out. We can't go back to barter because, I mean, I don't know how to make spuds, you know. I don't know how to mine salt, whatever. And no, you know, I can't even give away my comic for free, so it's not going to be worth much in a barter comic in the future. So, you know, so it's like, I don't know. Like, I mean, but obviously I don't know because I'm not an economist.
No, I mean, how can we know? I mean, plus as well, there's this whole thing of that, like, the different mentalities of the people where you are, like this kind of Scandinavian model of this half socialism, half capitalism that they have is going quite well, because like they are usually like in the top 10, 15 of the happiest countries in the world. They also seem to have they're ahead of the game with like things like mental health awareness and stuff like that, because I think it was Denmark has the highest number of people who see psychiatrists in the world, or something
they're
like that.
The happiest nation in the world by far. Yeah,
and it's because like
there was also something very dark came out about Denmark recently, though, that I can't remember. Something really dark. The happiest nation in the world, but also killed the most hedgehogs. Something, I don't know what it was. Causation is not correlation.
So, but they're good at this thing of that, like, something like 1 in 2 adults or something have seen a psychologist for like, not just once off, for like weeks at a time kind of thing. So they're good at making sure their mental health stays healthy kind of thing. But like there's no way in like, even Ireland, like we think Ireland's quite progressive, but like if you go down into rural parts of Ireland, and like you'd never reveal to anyone that you were seeing even a counsellor, let alone a psychologist.
Yeah.
You know? And like over here, it'd be the same thing. And then you go into like more conservative places like Russia or Ukraine and stuff. It's like just not a thing. You know, people won't ever admit to it. So it's like, it's all well and fine for us to say, we can solve world poverty and make everyone even and stuff like that if we just get in tune with ourselves and our mental health. And then you have like whole countries who are just like too fucking macho to even wear seatbelts at this stage.
Yeah. Take out a splinter with an axe, you know, the Russian way. That's it's an interesting one, and even down to like how, again, talking about how money is so different, you know, miles apart. Like say Northern Ireland have, you know, very different structures, whatever, but it's the same island and all that. But even like the thing of like notions of like going into a pub and say Holland or Netherlands, excuse me, they don't like Holland, and you know the mark on the beer mat, the drinks you've had, and then you pay at the end. Do that in Ireland. No way. That's just not happening. It can. And I mean, it's like just saying we're all European. We've all have pretty much somewhat shared history, shared outlook. You know, we they all learned the same language we were forced to learn, all that kind of stuff. But it was they have a second one that we don't because it was beaten out of us. You can feel the bitterness coming out every now and again out of Tommy's soul. But like, there's just no way. There's no way that would be a workable system in Ireland. In the same way that you can go, oh, look at the Scandinavian thing, and go, that's not workable in Russia because they're a different, different. Not
it's
a different
way of
people.
doing things.
It's a different pendulum, right? If you want to go that way, it's a completely. There's no point in trying to turn that pendulum to that
Pendulum's
pendulum.
Better.
Yeah.
No, you're dead right. Because there's just a tradition and a way of doing things that it would be too harsh of a change to change it quickly. You know?
Yeah,
I get you, totally get you. But like, so I don't know. But then again, maybe Genpo Roshi is right in that, like, at the end of one of those big mind videos he talks about, like, the more people who do
where he runs up, when he runs backstage with a load of women and has affairs. that bit. What? Maybe that. Well, which one am I watching? The right one? It's a Big Ride. It's called actually. I would like to speak to the single women in the audience.
Oh, brilliant. But he has this, I presume it's not him, he would have taken it for someone else, that the more kind of people have these experiences and wake up, then the more it's kind of like a really nice virus. Do you know, the more people it happens to, the more they spread it around to other people, kind of thing, and it happens. But then again, I mean, it can't be that fast because Buddha woke up 2,500 years ago.
Yeah. But I mean, a number of people have also since, so there is that. So, you know, and does seems to be somewhat exponential, given that book I've just I finally finished reading last night, What Enlightenment Does to Your Brain, and just how prevalent these small E and big E enlightenment experiences seem to be now. But just, you know, so there's some sort of trajectory in that. But I mean, that's again, even having a kind of a linear kind of look at it, like as if I'm doing an airplane taking off action here. But
the thing about that is that to link it all back to kind of where we might be going, is that there's a good few philosophers and theologians and stuff like that who are predicting that we're on the brink of the next axial age, which is fucking mad exciting, you know?
Yeah.
And the main argument is that, look, are we going into the third one or going into the second one? So the last one with Aristotle, Plato, all the turtles, they
in the cave, all the lights, Bernie lights,
all the Ghostbusters. They were. So the reason they think that it happened then was because writing systems had come in and we were not allowed, but we had come up with this thing where we could write down our thoughts. And instead of needing to just think on them like what the Druids had been doing and thinking and oral and oral and getting the thoughts out and having a dialogue with each other and trying to sort stuff out. Instead, you could write it down and you can post it to someone, or else they'd post it to you, or else write it down and you come back to yourself, and just let your mind do other things, and it could kind of work in the background. But so their thing is that why we're heading into the next axial age is because we have the kind of power of the internet to help us, and also the communities of the internet, which will mean that these problems are seen from a much, much bigger scale, and will be able to be kind of sorted out. So, like, I don't think the world's going to end. I think it's really fucking exciting. I really hope they're right. I think they are right. I do. I think they are right. You know, they're far smarter than me, like, and they're making these predictions that, like, oh yeah, thanks Tommy, fucking nice one. And it's exciting times, I think.
Yeah, I think that whole notion of like the smarter than me thing is an important thing to kind of dwell on as well. It's like that, because we can all have our opinions about it, and we can all kind of look around and go, oh, Scooby-Doo ending. But it's like people who know things more than I do are, you know, some of them aren't quite as hopeful, but some of them are quite hopeful. I have a notion, and it's something that's kind of born out of a couple of different peak experience or inside experiences or whatever is the correct word that makes me not feel like I'm same. I have the same for around inside awakening and enlightenment experience as I do around magic and whatever woo-woo thing is. But I think like this kind of idea of the feeling of that we're on the precipice, on the cusp, on the end of the world, possibly, you know, the whole thing. I've a sense that has never not been the case. That I think that that's always the prevailing feeling of being existent, of being a human. I think is always, particularly because you can look at it definitely back 2,000 years, where from the Christian thing, the world is ending any moment now. So just kind of sense, and it could be just initially just born out of the fact that, well, the world is ending because you're getting about 70 years and then you're gone. You know, that's it. So there's that kind of background hum of going to be over soon. But it's just this kind of sense, because I had a kind of a briefly, I'll just talk about it very briefly, but on Saturday I had a kind of experience when I was out and I was in a garden and I was looking at a tree, and it was the kind of acknowledgement that this is the tree that the Buddha gained enlightenment under, which it wasn't, of course, because it was a tree in, Cullen in County Louth, and then it was also the sense of that this is the garden that of Gethsemane, where that Jesus, just before he makes his final, as soon as the kiss happens with Judas, that's it. There's no going back. That's the kind of the moment. And the same with the Buddha under the tree. He's not leaving it until he gets the thing. And it was kind of like the sense of this is always happening. It's not in a sense a historical event, although it may be, but it's a thing that's always. Event is always kind of happening, and I kind of get the sense too about that. This feeling of being the end of the world, or this kind of thing, is a sense that has always been like this, and that it's not going to change. That these are kind of perennial, that's probably not the right word, constant feelings or something that is always, so it's never not going to feel like this. I mean, even if it is the axial age or the end of the world, I mean, at some point we're going to be right and predict the end of the world, and someone's going to actually get it right, just because that's it's a finite universe, etc. But just this kind of sense of that. And so, like, I don't. When people kind of say, "Oh, how can you, in a sense, remain optimistic or positive or something about it?" It's about the future. It's that I just think it's okay. I think it's fine. I think this is how it is, and that's okay. And even when it's not okay, that's okay. But I also can't get past the feeling that there's something miraculous happening. I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's there, and I can't put it into words, and I can't.
I get you. No, I get you. I get you. It's the. Well, I suppose are you seeing it's the nowness of every moment? Is that it? And that every moment is just kind of interconnected with everything anyway.
That it's all happening now, all of it. The end of the world, the beginning of the world. But
of course it is.
But under a tree.
You can't experience. No, but of course it is, because you can't. It's your man Roshi says it as well, and it's a Zen thing. You can't breathe in the future. You can't breathe in the past. You only have all there is now. You know what I mean? That's it. Like, so, everything that has ever happened is happening. Like,
but I suppose it was in that just kind of the switch between. Of course, I know that. Of course, I mean, rationally, I know that. To fuck.
Yeah.
There it is. Now happening. There, I see it. With. And also reading a lot of Alan Watts recently about the whole kind of notion of, and it's a great thing that, Earth is a thing that peoples, and this is the natural kind of progression of what Earth does. It peoples. It creates people, whatever. And our big problem, and what we've done, is separate ourselves from nature, thinking that we are not nature, that we are doing this to nature. And this will tie into the Tao documentary as well, in that it's that separation, that because if we are coming out of this planet, this thing, which is the very kind of Tao thing, then what's going on is a natural thing. It's like, it's kind of it's not us versus nature. This is nature doing this, because we are nature. So if something is unfolding or something it's rather than, I don't know, placing ourselves outside of the thing that we've come from, and we can kind of see it. As I know, there's that kind of thing of, but we are a disease, or we are here destroying the planet, and you could make an argument for it, but I don't know.
The thing is, look, there's always, I think that there's always writing down here, there's always a kind of breaking point. It's like, look, 100 years ago, there were 120 years ago, there were no petrol cars. Okay, there weren't, right? Yeah. And there were no, petrol derivative used in like our lamps in our houses and stuff like that.
Yeah. Or our candles, tea lights that we offer to Ganesha.
used to kill whales. A lot of whales.
Yeah.
All right? And it went on for an awful long time until eventually people just said, lads, we have to stop killing the whales. And the Norwegians and the Icelanders were like, no, fuck you.
I think
and the Japanese
as well.
were no. Like, no, fuck you. Until eventually, eventually they relented and very few whales compared to back then. There's still whales killed, obviously, but there's very few whales compared to what there was 120 years ago killed now. Same thing happened with slavery still goes on and it's fucked up, but the government sanctioned slavery of what was going on in America that led to the Civil War, right? Like in the British Parliament there was rows for ages, for years, about people standing up saying we have to stop doing this. And eventually there was a straw that broke the camel's back, and there was a breaking point. So kind of what I'm getting to is there's always a breaking point, you know. I think we're getting there. I think we're very, very close to getting there with these fossil fuels and with oil and stuff like that. I mean, God almighty, spend 10 minutes on YouTube today and look at how awesome hydrogen cars are. Do you know, like, we should have them. They're amazing. But it'll come. It's just that we'd have to keep... Not we have to. I don't like telling people what to do, but it's that I hope that we do kind of come together as a people and say, we don't want these products and crappy things anymore. We want a nice planet. But look, at the same time, there's still people moving into cities every day and they're not moving to the countryside, which fucking sucks, because like living in the countryside is far better for your brain and far better for everything, for your upbringing, for your kids' upbringing, for communities. Like, you'd have to, I don't know, man, to get me back into living into a city, you know, you'd have to pay me an awful lot of fucking money. Jeez, could you imagine living in a flat again and hearing your name? Honestly, I could you'd be doing your business in the jacks and you'd hear the conversations going on below you in the flat below you, kind of thing. And it's just, okay, all right, that's a badly built flat, bad example. But like, people aren't supposed to live like that. They're just not.
Yeah.
You know? It's awful. Flats. There's just the worst thing. Just all be just not be
You're very depressed there. Poor sport.
Yeah,
you don't live in a flat anymore. It's okay.
No, I don't live in a flat, but I know lots of people that do, and I know lots of people who aren't happy about living in them. It's just like my heart goes out to them.
Must have been an absolute nightmare, the lockdown. Lockdown must have been just a nightmare. Yeah. On that happy note, well, we talked about the documentary. We are going to do another thing, but we might do that as a bonus thing, maybe, if we run out of time, and just do it as a separate.
Okay.
See how it goes.
Okay.
So, the documentary that we watched this week was Journey to the East by a YouTuber called George Thompson, who essentially set up his channel where a couple of years ago, and I got onto it very early for some reason. I don't know, just got recommended or something. And it was a young guy, didn't know what to do with his life, and he said, I'll go to China and learn Kung Fu. And fairly brave man, went off and he found a kind of monastery or whatever.
He failed, Tommy, didn't he? He failed. He failed in his mission to learn Kung Fu.
And he goes, do you teach Kung Fu? And I go, no, but we teach Tai Chi and Taoism. And he went, all right, I'll hang around here I'll hang around here. This far. So we hang around for a week, and then he stays there and he learns Tai Chi or whatever. Sadly for him, he was only there for a year or whatever it was, and then when he came back, his YouTube channel picked up quite well, and he came back and he's doing an office job, and he's going like, what do I do with my vlog there? You know, like I'd sit in an office talking about things. So he tried a number of different things, but during then, just before the COVID lockdown, all of this thing, he decided he was going to go back and try and spend some more time and to get deeper into it. And so the documentary is kind of his journey across Europe on a train to go to China as the world is closing down, and he's literally going to 50 miles away from Wuhan. So it's like, it's this intense kind of, that I'm sure had he known what was about to happen, probably wouldn't have done it. Like, who would in the right mind travel to 50 miles close to Wuhan in February 2020? But and then it kind of goes from there. You enjoyed it, Spud, I think, going by your tweets.
Yeah, I thought it was great, yeah. I mean, I like the way that he used to be a giant as well, and now he's a small man, because like, he still has all his clothes from when he was a giant.
Yeah.
Did you notice?
Yeah.
All his clothes too big for him. It's like, what happened there? Like, was he Hulk? Is he? Oh, maybe he's Hulk.
Maybe he's Hulk. He's Taoism so that he doesn't get angry anymore.
No, he's sound. He's a lovely fella. But like I was, the start of it where he's going across all these countries by train. He was in Poland. Was like, yay! And it's like, oh, why is he going by train? Does he not know about airplanes? And it's like, he doesn't really mention it. He does have to take one flight eventually or something. Why?
Yeah,
why did he do the train thing?
For it to be a journey rather than just spending.
Just to make it a long vlog.
No, because he does mention. He says because what if I get on a plane, then it's 20 hours to have a sleep, watch a shitty movie, and wake up, and there I am. So.
Oh, did he say that? Okay,
yeah.
I missed that bit. Then. All right. Well, I suppose it is better for the film that he went, but like I wouldn't do that.
Well, I think the whole idea was so I'm going to start in the West, in England, and journey slowly across to get to the East and see how, the different kind of things. So it's rather than just, it's not just I'm going to, Wudang or whatever in China. It's I'm doing this across Europe to find out, have an adventure.
Did you get, I found myself getting a bit of, Boris Johnson was on the telly there and he was saying, whatever the fuck he was saying. But like, we have to go into lockdown or whatever. I was kind of like, I was getting nostalgic for the early days of the coronavirus. And like, we had no clue. We all thought we were going to die. You know? And it's like,
absolutely terrified. I remember the first announcement that was here in Ireland, and it was like, it was very intense because you go, oh fuck, this is it. This is it. This is the zombie movie. We're all dead. And it'd be interesting every now and again. If one of my old videos from around the time pops up, and there's definitely concern. Like, I mean, you no idea if what was ever going to happen. Or even when you look at videos, like say, I was watching recently with Daniel Ingram talking about the lockdown at the beginning, and just like how, the concern and the things he was talking about, what didn't come the way it could have. But we literally didn't know, and you can't judge anyone. No,
we still don't know. There was some doctor on BBC Radio this morning. They were talking about I think next month is the tennis thing, Wimbledon, yeah. And they were saying they're going to have full capacity crowds at these, it's tennis or whatever, 15, 20,000 people kind of thing. And Wembley's going to have half the capacity, so 50,000 people, I think, for the final of the Euros. And but they interviewed the doctor who is advising the government, which is just oh God, would you trust him? He's advising the Conservative government in England, but like he's like, well, we need to see because England are putting back some of the phases of lockdown by a couple of weeks.
4 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, and the excuse is, we need to vaccinate more people. Yeah. And so his thing was, well, look, I mean, we need to see what's going to happen with all these increased vaccinated people, how they're going to react to this new Delta strain, and also will it lead to more people being hospitalised because the vaccine takes maybe too long to work for some people. And it's like, I don't know, whoa. Is he just lab ratting the entire nation of the United Kingdom? Is that what they're doing? Yes. The answer is yes.
Well, I mean, what's the choice though? Like you're saying, if this Delta thing, so you have to try and get more people vaccinated. But
it was just a terrible interview. He's just like, he was basically saying, we don't know.
Yeah, I suppose it's better than claiming you do know or whatever. Supposedly, I seen on Twitter last night whether it's true or not. I don't know. Damien Mully put it up, so it's usually true. He's usually a good source. That the Pfizer is 96% effective against the Delta variant, which is nice. That's good news.
Yeah, it's people who have the AstraZeneca that are freaking out about this Delta one because it doesn't have a very high.
I think that it's not zero. Like I think it's still 60%.
No, it's in the 70s or something. I think. Whereas the rest of them are in Moderna's 90, Pfizer's 90 something or 80 something. I don't remember. But like, what are you gonna do? Like,
yeah. Anyway, Taoism. Go back constantly to this. But what I like about the whole Taoism, the kind of thing. Well, I suppose it starts with that which can be described as not the Tao. The eternal Tao, or that which you can put a name on. But he kind of does halfway through the documentary, switches into and then starts talking about what it is and the history of it, and the different aspect of it. Taoism is something. The very first kind of spirituality thing that I came across would have been Taoism because of Stuart Wilde. That was his whole thing, was he was into Taoism and the Tao, and but it's never something I really delved in that much deeper into. And I think it's essentially because you can't. You know what I mean? That's it. It's like everything has a rhythm and a pattern, the polarities, things rise together, everything's in flow, just try and keep it in it and, be cool. And you go, all right, yeah.
It's that simple.
But can I?
Is it that simple?
I need 6 more books telling me that, please. no, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know fuck all about the Tao, to be honest, except for this and a few other bits and pieces. But it's I loved it. And it's shot really well. He's a really good cameraman.
Really
He's
good.
a great cameraman.
Yeah,
so he is, and he obviously has a lovely drone as well.
Yeah, he does.
But his shots are fucking fantastic. But then again, he's in these beautiful mountains in China, so it's kind of like maybe not how hard they are. But like the shots of him, like the montages of him learning, improving his Tai Chi and stuff like that, are even good. And I mean, there's nothing bad you can say with this. It's great. I mean, you're watching it and you kind of put yourself in his shoes, and it's like when he's returning, when he's leaving China, I'm like, how would you leave? Like,
how would you go back to an office job?
Heartbroken. Yeah. How would you go back to city living? Do you know? I'm just like, I'd be like, Dad, sorry, I can't.
Yeah,
I just can't. I have to stay here. I have to do something here. Do you know? And like, it's not like, I mean, he had met, like, I presume there was an off-screen romance there. He got kind of close to a girl in the hotel, and I hope he did. And there was another, no, there wasn't another one. And it's like, it's just a very, look, that's the thing. That's one thing about these kind of spirituality things, enlightenment quests or whatever. It's that, like, seems a bit easier when you're in a monastery setting. What you do, you just relax. Not relax. You do your grow your veg, cut your veg, go to mass or meditate. The young fella's tooth fell out the other day, and so we did the tooth fairy thing for him. And now the young one thinks she can take out her teeth.
Oh no!
Because she wants chocolate. No Buddhist monk ever had to deal with that. So, yeah, I don't. Yeah, it looked so gorgeous there and so nice. Like, coming back to reality would be depressing. I'd say really, really depressing, because it just looked idyllic and amazing, and getting in touch with the Tao and doing your Tai Chi. It looked pretty fucking cool. Like,
the thing that I feel about what the Tao is, or whatever, of course, by defining it, means it's not. I'm aware of that. Is that sense of that thing that I've talked about before, and I know you have a similar experience of it, as the thing that's always been there, never not been there, always been about. It's your face before your parents were born, your rich face, all that. That, I assume, is the Tao. That's the thing. That's what it is, and it's the the thing in all things, the thing that you can recognise, the thing that's in me that I recognise in you. And I understand that's still that's a dualistic thinking. I assume that eventually disintegrates in some way, but so that kind of thing, and it's that kind of sense of, I suppose, perfection, or the sense of all rightness, okayness, flow, that it's as it is, that whole kind of, all these words that don't describe it at all, but in some way point to it. Just the holiness, the mist, I don't know, but I know what it is. I know it now. I can feel it now. It's right, and it's an awful lot of time centered around the heart. But I have a big kind of, since therapy in particular as well, my heart chakra's just fucking massively opening all the time now, which is great, because it was hollow and concave and fucked. So I don't know if the sense of it is just that, or if that is where it's located. I don't know, but it's just I don't know. Let's say everything's okay, but I mean, that's not it. That's not what I mean. But I don't know. The Tao which can be described as that's eternal Tao. But
I think I know what you're getting at, but I kind of got something else from it. Like, okay. Well, it was because I've been on this thing to find out more about, anyways, because of the talk that I was having with you and the Epoch lads, wasn't it, about karma and cause and effect? And it's that, and that, like, yeah, that's it. We were talking on the Discord about, like, do things happen for a reason? And it's like, well, yeah, they do, because something caused something to happen. Nothing just happens. You know, like, nothing is made out of nothing. So nothing. Well, then again, but it's this, just how it's mind blowing how interconnected everything is. It's like when you actually sit down and think about the million little things that had to happen for me to like walk the kids to school this morning. Do you know, like all of the, like if you try and pare it back to like from when you woke up that morning, right? If you start there and then look at all the possible forks that could have happened, right? It's nuts how everything is so just connected to other things. Like kind of look at it like the way the fungus works underneath the ground in a forest. It's kind of like that, you know? It pops up every now and again and there's these little mushrooms. But like, holy fuck, like that mushroom is like keeping like a square mile of forest alive. Like it's fucking nuts to think about. And that's just happening. Like I was walking home the other day and they're not great at cutting the grass here in public places in Poland, which is really, really good for nature and wildlife. And I was just walking the dog and I just went, you know, not like there's just in like in a square foot there, like how many hundreds of animals are there and alive right now? Yeah. I'm like, it's fucking great they don't cut it because they have somewhere to live and populate and all this kind of stuff. And I know it's all hippy dippy and people are rolling their eyes at me now going, Spud's fucking lost the plot.
I don't think so. I know what you mean.
It's true, you know. Yeah. It's so true how interconnected everything is, and like that's kind of my thoughts on cause and effect and what karma kind of is as well. Is that like every action comes from every action is caused, you know. Something led to something to happen.
Yeah.
Did it happen specifically for you? I don't think so, but I think there's a lesson in everything if you choose to want to learn it. Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. But I'm not sure there's a lesson in every single thing. I think you can drive yourself insane thinking that.
Of course you can, but it's only if you want to see it in a kind of existentialist kind of way. It's not, okay, this has meaning because I give it meaning.
Right,
you know?
okay.
Is there a lesson in this? No, there isn't. But is there a lesson in this? Yeah, okay, I can learn something from this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No,
I think it's more the thing that I suppose to clarify what my thoughts are on that. I don't think there's a supernatural agency killing your child so that you learn. That's the type of shit I'm not really, or you know, making you not get the job because something better has come out. Like I made a huge point to try and eliminate as much superstitious thinking from my life as possible. Down to things like I noticed things I used to do. Like yesterday, I was lighting some incense and it wouldn't light. And I went, my first thought was, "Oh, you're not meant to light this." And I went, "Fuck you! I'm lighting it. I'm making this decision." I'm not, you know, being guided by some superstitious thing that I've supernatural thing I've had in my head that I'm essentially making up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And there's an 8-foot rabbit standing behind you, going,
ooh,
blowing out your candle. Yeah,
or it's like, you know, doing something and then kind of going, oh well, if you know, maybe I shouldn't, or whatever. That just going like, no. Stop it! I'm in control. I'm doing this because I'm not giving my agency away.
Whereas the way I see it is that, like, okay, so that's a cause and effect thing. It's just your lighter's not working.
Yeah, exactly that. And and it's, you know, it's like, I think if you're anything like me, I've certainly handed over decisions and stuff to things like that, which is just, while in one sense I know, and as you point out to me, that, you know, the oath of the prayer of the Magus, whatever, is that I will deal with everything that happens as a particular dealing with God. And I get that, and I understand what is being pointed at, but I don't think having things where you go, if my lighter doesn't work, then I'm not meant to have this incense. Is that? I don't think that's it. And
I don't think that's what Crowley meant, man. I don't think so.
And I don't think it's like, oh, I lost my keys. Where's my keys? Oh, I can't go. Maybe I shouldn't go to this meeting.
I can't leave the house today. Yeah.
Shut up. Find your fucking keys and go to a meeting. No, and it's. I think like, the reason why I'm annoyed and kind of aggressive is because I have to be with myself, because it's just like some of the things that you just kind of
fall into the trap.
Yeah, and it's so easy because of things like go with the flow and use your intuition. All this. It's like, I mean, I hate the expression.
My intuition is I need to find my fucking keys.
I hate these things like don't be so open-minded your brains fall out. I hate it, but the sentiment behind it, I understand.
No, I get you. Look, what I really liked about this, and I must buy the book and read the sayings, or they're probably not koans, are they? But they're similar to koans, aren't they?
The Tao Te Ching. Yeah, it's like, it's very action. the frog jumps into sea. A man and a woman kiss.
Okay. I
And you go, I shouldn't burn this incense.
No, it's there's a bit earlier in the film where they say like how the Taoists came up with the Tao, or how they kind of discovered it. Like there was these huge wars going on in China at the time, and chaos and hell and horrible bad stuff. But these kind of philosophers and the high-minded people could kind of see that there's patterns in the movements of, not not a clairvoyant thing, but the birds showing up at certain times of the year and stuff like that. There's patterns in nature, so let's look at that and see what we learn from it. So like I really like that, because that kind of nature stuff really speaks to me. But then there's like, but like what's really cool about it is they have this thing that like, look, you can't intellectualize this. There's no should, would, could, bad. There's just like what I said earlier. Like we learn how the world works by living life and paying attention. Like, that's that easy. Holy shit! Like, why didn't you tell me this years ago? That's awesome.
I'm sure you will. That's it. Like, I definitely was told that a million times. I went, okay, yeah. Can I have 10 more textbooks that describe that in detail? And possibly a number of documentaries that complicate it and get really to the heart of it. Yeah. It's like you said, meditate, be cool. Was it be cool, meditate?
Yeah.
What is your
Be sound.
Be sound.
Be sound, meditate, be sound. Simple.
Yeah.
No, were these the first to come up with? Because he says it in the film that they came up with the whole notion of yin yang. So the Buddhists just saw that and took it, or ran with it.
Yeah, I assume so. My timeline, I don't know. I'm not a historian, but that's my understanding of it. Is that it's come the yin yang is Chinese. That's thing. But I mean, see, the Buddhist thing's so weird because there'll be like you look at the the Dogen thing in Zen. That's not Zen. The yin yang mightn't be considered Buddhist at all. It might be, that's, I don't know when it was.
Might be our bastardized version of it.
Yeah, or I don't mean it in this way, like the westernized Buddhism or the American Buddhism that's your prevalent. I don't know. I'm always hesitant to talk about Buddhism because people get so, and rightly so, actually about it.
Yeah, but like, okay, but if the whole Eightfold Path is about balance, then surely yin yang.
The thing about the yin yang or whatever is that if it is a natural inherent part of existence, then it's bound to show up in many different places around the world.
Of course.
Under different things. I mean, it just has to. So,
there was some Alan Watts thing I was listening to the other day as well. He was talking about the shape, the kind of line between the yin and yang.
All right.
And he was explaining where that comes from. That's the shape of a snake swimming in water. And he goes on to talk then about how, like,
is this the old black and white lecture thing? Is it? Because I know he does a yin yang one.
I was listening. I was only listening to it. I wasn't watching it. And he was talking about when you sit upright in certain positions and you move your spine, and it's like it's very good for you. You should do it, but like you start at the bottom. But now if you start at the top, and then you look at the snake and you wonder, well, where is he starting his movement? Is he starting up at his neck, or is he starting down at the bottom of his back? And then you kind of see that I'm doing it here for Tommy. Come
on, yeah.
This is actually what a pole dance is.
Yeah, maybe we should do a video podcast. It's just us dancing. Hey, the Tao that can be described is not the eternal Tao. Hey, how you doing?
It's a snake in water, so go catch a snake and make it dance. And I just thought it was this kind of cool idea that there's this slivering balance of okay, like shit. Actually, where does its movement start? I have no idea. I can't pick it. So where does our movement start? And then it's this mind blowing thing again of this. Everything is connected and reliant on everything for anything to happen.
And this kind of idea of where it's not, and I have to use the word that it's not, it's the opposites. It's in the, the light and the dark. And Taoism does not see it as opposites. It's like north and south only exists because of north and south. If you take one away, you can't have south.
Yeah.
So it's this idea of it all rises together. And it's not like, a negative and a positive. Well, I mean, literally yin yang means negative, positive. But it's the same thing. It's just, it's a rising together. It only, it's, and Alan Watts is great in all this stuff. He really the whole the wiggly world, all of this kind of stuff. He really seems to. And I'm reading his book on the Watercourse Way, which is his final book on the Tao. He actually died while he was writing it, and it's really, really good. And it goes into the history of the Chinese characters, where it all comes from, and you can see the thing we were talking about earlier. You're saying about the axial age, where you could write this stuff down, and then it became something different. And particularly in this kind of pictorial kind of stuff that the Chinese writing is, that it changed something by having this kind of that a man, the particular thing for man is easy to, he's saying like in English that man is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strokes, whatever it is, 9 strokes, where in the man in Chinese like 2, and it's like so much quicker and so much more. It's almost like, in a sense, like a comic strip in a very like XKCD kind of comic, the really kind of basic thing. But that kind of sense of the Tao or whatever there's I suppose a joy in it, or a thing, or in Buddhism it can be about negation, which is fine, and I understand, and I'm a really huge fan of Buddhism, or at least my understanding of it. Whereas in the Tao, it's not about, it's not saying, oh, you have to give up these, you have to be, you can make an argument about mindfulness, but it's not about working on your stuff. It's not about, right cultivation of good practice. It's stop the war. Stop it entirely. Drop it, the war, and just be. And Zen, I suppose, a bit like that. So I'm kind of attracted to that, I suppose. But it's like I also do see the necessity of the actual practicality of the Buddhist approach to that, because it's easy to say drop the war, just leave the war, but like how, how do I do that? Can I have 10 books explaining exactly?
So is this how they teach it then? You just learn that book, and you do your Tai Chi, and then you. Well,
you see, the thing about the Tai Chi is the reason what happens is because it becomes so habitual that you stop thinking about it, that you end up seeing it happening. Oh, hitting the mic. End up seeing it happen, and you start be like, suppose, having the awareness of the mindful of the flow that's happening, rather than you're doing it. So it's the echoing then what you see around you, or what you're meant to see, or I think that's the idea.
You ever do Tai Chi?
Yeah, I've done some, but I've done. I like it. There's some, again, some of the Tai Chi I did was very much westernized and kind of sounds true-y. That company, Tammy's, whatever names. It's great stuff, but it's kind of taken out of context. They're certainly taken out of context. Whereas there's a very kind of strict, I can't remember what it was, it's either 16 forms or 24 form of what Tai Chi is, and I think I'll probably investigate that a bit more and actually learn Tai Chi rather than weekend Tai Chi for Western people who don't want to do the work or whatever, who like taking things out of context and bastardizing them. But it's lovely. But Tai Chi is lovely, and especially if you have any sort of appreciation of energy stuff, which you do, because I know you felt stuff during Reiki and stuff. You could definitely feel the chi going, like.
I did some years ago, and I just found it a bit too slow. But saying that, like, I just started doing the Yin Yoga stuff, and that's obviously very slow, because you do poses for like 2.5, 3 minutes each time, kind of thing, and it's not that many. Well, the stuff I'm doing isn't that many poses, but apparently it's the bee's knees, so I'm just going to do it. And I know Vanessa's starting her yoga challenge as well. Yeah,
that's tomorrow,
Discord, so I'll do that as well,
The actual Master Guang, whatever, he has a school that you can pay. It's 300 quid a year. I'm not paying that for an online thing. The guy... Yoga. No, the Tai Chi guy, the actual...
the Tai Chi guy.
That George goes, like, hit master...
his teacher,
he has an online thing. But he also has, the whole, goes through all of the forms on Udemy. So it's wait for the next sale and get it for a tenner. It's like usually, all the stuff on Udemy is like 300 quid. I go like, is anyone buying this for 300 quid? Or they're waiting until it's 10.99 like everyone else. Come on.
Well, if you just open an incognito window on Chrome, you'll get the discounted price.
Oh, is that how you did? Nice, that's good knowledge. Yeah. Thanks for that.
or change your VPN as well.
I usually just go to the website of the people who it is, because they always have a code for it. Always on, like, so if it's a YouTube guy, he usually has a Udemy code to get the thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but the yoga thing is starting tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah, for 21 days. The first week of videos have been done. I've been editing them and stuff. By editing, I mean I'm putting cheesy yoga music underneath it. But I could say that because I made the music myself, so I'm allowed to say cheese. Everyone else has to say wonderful, amazing, inspiring. They're the words. They're the 3 words you're allowed to use. Yeah, it's meant to be 10 minutes the first week, but I mean that's impossible. So they're definitely 15 minutes each. So, but I'm looking forward to it. It's been a while since I did yoga. So, yeah.
It's kind of. I've always kind of failed with yoga because I was stuck with it because my kind of goal changes with it as I'm doing it, you know. And I think if I just stick to the goal that I want, then I'll be okay, and just stick it and make it into a habit. You know, just try and do it at the same time every day, kind of thing. And
yeah, I think if you did it, you've kind of decided: am I doing this as a fitness program, or am I doing this as a spiritual practice? And while it's fine to do it as both, I decide what you're doing because it can very easily
pick one of them.
Yeah, because it can very easily switch. It's like meditation where you're in the middle of doing it and it's for pass and you go, oh, maybe I'll try meta. No, don't. Stick to the thing you've said you're doing because it's not your brain just being odd, you know. But you'll get both benefits anyway, the spiritual and the
exactly.
The thing, so it's intention.
He says the sort of film kind of finishes up and he says that there's the big floods in the middle where tons of people die and
you can tell
he's pretty shook up by it, you know.
Yeah.
And
that one shot of him where he's going, man, I'm finding it very hard to focus. He looks like pasty.
Imagine that going on around you. Like you have coronavirus first, and then you have people dying because of floods literally at the end of your fucking valley.
Yeah.
You know, like you've drank the same water that morning that fucking killed someone.
Yeah, probably talking to one of the dudes.
Scary shit, like
hours before. Yeah,
and so that'd be fucking tough. But is there a conclusion to the film? It kind of is, but the conclusion is kind of one of these typically open things is that like the world sucks as it is. We all have these massive problems. Maybe if we look back and look towards the east and look at these old teachings, it can help. Okay.
Well, maybe. I think it's kind of his point is that no matter what, right? So from whenever it was 2,000, 3,000 years ago to now, while the earth and society and civilization has dramatically changed and everything, human nature hasn't changed. And the kind of discoveries that these guys had are applicable to us now because our problems, our actual emotional, mental, spiritual problems are exactly the same as they were then. So if it worked for them, it can work for us. And it's just it's again, it's like not a negation of life. It's whatever. It's just becoming that thing, returning and seeing yourself as part of nature, part of that thing, of that entire thing, and not pulling yourself separate from it, or not pulling humanity separate from it, or not pulling cities separate from it, because cities are nature. It's what nature did, and it's seeing that, and it's seeing the Tao, or whatever word you want, the emptiness, the God force, pick your word in that, and it's like, it's not just in the tree in the forest, you know. It's not just that where it's easy. It's not in the monastery where your kid isn't trying to pull their tooth out. It's in the moment. It's in the moment with the kid trying to pull the tooth out. Is the Tao also?
Yeah.
Which
I enjoy. I can see all that there. I could see all that there, but I would struggle in a city. I would really struggle.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying I wouldn't either.
No, I really would like.
I struggle when I leave my office. Jesus Christ, other people. Oh my God, where's the Tao gone?
No, but it's not okay. I have some of that, but like I try and give. I try and give people the more benefit of the doubt and try and see the better in them, but there's just like I just think that people aren't meant to live so close together and be in each other's faces all the time. It just look at monkeys and in forests if they get too close to each other, rip each other's arms off and stuff like that. I mean, it's a thing that we don't enjoy as our earliest ancestors. So why did we end up doing it then?
Money,
thing,
closer to it's factories, it's modernization, industrialization. It used to be initially we banded together, cooperation, so that we could, someone could make the bread, someone could make the swords, someone could raise the kids, and we're all beside a river. Let's do this. And then then all of a sudden there's 5 million of us, or 8 million of us, whatever, 30 million in some cities, whatever is the ridiculousness of it. It's like, I mean, it's not the most ideal way we could say it, but it's just what it is. That, you know, for now, hopefully we learn better ways of, you know, not doing that. But I mean, some people love the city, will never not leave the city. I know numerous people who couldn't not live in a city. You know, so there's that too, and you can, I suppose, enforce my love of trees on someone who loves being.
Of course,
you know,
not. I don't know. It kind of blows my mind that like you'd want to live in a city and bring your kids up in a city. I mean, like an inner city thing. You know, God Almighty, could you imagine like if my kids grew up with a Dublin accent? Jesus, the horror of it! Like, no. How are you, Dad? Are you on heroin? Oh, that's how I fucking talk, Dad.
Bahor sausage. What? Bahor burger. Tobacco. Ah, yes, the standard, the mantra of Henry Street. Tobacco.
No, come here. I mean, I'm kind of slagging off his kind of ending a bit. No, but I think he is right, because like deep down we know the world isn't in its best, isn't where it could be. Yeah. The world could be a better place is basically what I'm saying, you know. And I think he's right. By looking at these traditions and taking lessons from them, I think we can make the world a little bit of a brighter place. Even if it's just for ourselves.
There is a point in that it's like, stop trying to solve it though too. That the world, like,
yeah.
That it's not let's solve this and then the world is a better place. It's the world is the better place now, right now, with this shit, and that's it. You know, it's this yearning for this progress or to find the answer, to get to the bit. Oh, no, we've made it. We know it. It's never not going to be like this. That's the thing I'm seeing. I think it's never not going to be.
Okay, so let me change it then. I mean, it's okay. So it's an appreciation for all of the goodness rather than just focusing on because it's easy to watch telly and see people living, like, even I'm getting annoyed with myself even just thinking about living in a city again.
Yeah.
You know, because it makes me anxious or stressed or whatever. But yeah, no, it's about seeing that like the world can be a great place. It's just like we just need to step back a bit and say, right, okay, what's going on here?
Well, no, what I would suggest,
sort my head out a bit.
Rather than saying the world can be a great, the world is a great place right this moment.
It is.
Right now.
Uh-huh.
Well, and then people go, oh, but what a little thing. And yes, I understand that. But it's like me saying that, you know, it's within that thing, within the shit, it's to find the light. That you know, and rather than giving into the darkness. But the darkness is never not going to be there. And if you're waiting for the darkness to be gone for you to be happy,
you're waiting.
Then you know, I suspect we're not going to. You know, it's never not going to be like this. I know I'm repeating that, but that just seems, you know, somewhat very obvious, I suppose, revelatory, if that's the correct word, for me to acknowledge that. And I mean, I've heard that before. I mean, it's not the first time someone has ever said that to me. Like, you know,
it doesn't really hit you. Like, it doesn't really hit you until you see it yourself. No, I get you. But I don't think that's.
But it doesn't mean give up either. It's like, let's try and make the world a better place. But it's let's not wait until it's a better place to acknowledge that.
I'm not sure though. Okay, maybe we're getting semantics here, but I'm not sure if that was his message. I'm not too sure if that was his message.
Okay, possibly not.
I think his message was.
I could definitely be projecting here. There's no problem with that. That's the thing I do.
I think his message was to look at these old teachings so that we can make the world better. I think that's what it was. I don't think it was that. No, but I agree with you. You're right. I mean, we should see it as like, actually, you know what? It's pretty fucking cool to be alive, lads, and the world is deadly, and all our friends are amazing, except Johnny, who never pays me back. I give him money.
Yeah,
he's a prick.
Probably on heroin.
And, just appreciate what you have and be cool, man. Meditate. Be sound. Meditate.
That's it.
We're going to talk to a saint now.
Yeah, do you want to do it?
We're going to finish this
as part of this.
Bonus?
What do you think? I'm open to. Because I think if we do it separately, then there's a chance people might listen to it rather than the hour and 40 minutes tacked on at the
All
end.
right, yeah. But sure, look, and plus tomorrow's our day, so you can put it out tomorrow.
Yeah, put it up separately. Right. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.